For eyewitness on the ground, it appeared like a celestial catastrophe, raining down fragments of charred metal, debris, burnt and mangled remains of human bodies. But the disastrous mid-air collision between a Saudi Boeing 747 and a Kazakh IL-76 jet, which occurred on the twilight of November 12 over Charkhi Dadri district near Delhi, now seems more a combination of many factors, human and mechanical. Even as a judicial inquiry ordered by the Prime Minister Mr. Deve Gowda begins its probe into the disaster, experts are looking at various theories that could have caused the tragedy. Theory 1. Lack of secondary radar system at the Delhi airport, which would have specified the distance and altitude at which the aircraft were flying.
The radar which we have today in Delhi is a primary radar, and it's a fairly old one, probably installed somewhere in the 70s. I believe 73 or so, roughly about. Exact data I'm not aware right now. And this being a very old equipment, the echo, the radar echo which we get is not up to the mark, firstly. Secondly, being a primary equipment only, we do not get any information regarding the heights of the aircraft. We only get the range and bearing, that what we call the direction and the distance from the radar head.
Theory 2. The absence of adequate technical backup in the air traffic control to double-check the correct position of the aircraft.
There was no backup for the pilot, and so when the pilot made a mistake, there was no backup for it. I think that if a situation arises where the consequences of a mistake by the pilot are disastrous, then the system definitely needs a backup and a double backup even if necessary. In this particular case, when the aircraft are on a reciprocal course, the 1,000 feet separation did not prove to be adequately safe. And the lesson which emerges from it that there should have been a lateral separation.
Theory 3. The failure of the Kazakh airline pilot to comprehend communication in English from the ATC. The transcript copy of the ATC's last recorded contact with the two aircraft, however, gives a very different picture.
From this, it is clear that Kazakhstan Airways knew it was to fly at 150, that is 15,000. That Saudi Arabia was cleared to fly to 14,000. And that the vertical distance between them was 1,000 feet, which is the standard accounting, as Mr. Kola has said. That both the planes were aware of each other's approach, especially the Kazakhstan airline, which asked question on what is the distance now between us.
Theory 4. The possible error on the part of the Kazakh air crew in converting the flight altitude calibration from feet into meters following the instructions to descend.
Especially the aircraft which are coming into India or going out of India from the CIS countries. We have little trouble with them. Earlier also, it has been on record as such. That is, these aircraft normally do not maintain actually the height which has been assigned to them. They are either a little higher or a little lower than. And it could be probably because their equipments are basically in the matrix system.
Theory 5. The fact that the takeoff and landing routes in the Delhi air corridor are the same and congested.
The people are saying that the Air Force did not clear the civil aviation for an alternative route, but this has been denied by the Air Force. Even if there was one corridor, the corridor is wide enough for the controller to ensure a lateral separation when he sees the two aircraft going head-on. And this was not laid down and it was not adhered to.
The key to the riddle lies waiting inside the black boxes and the flight data and cockpit voice recorders, which were recovered a day later after the tragedy. But whoever gets the blame, the fact of the matter is that the worst disaster in aviation history is a sure enough reminder that the sooner the air traffic control system in the country are modernized, the safer its skies would be.